In the first episode of History Behind the Find, we are going to discuss an Ames Model 1834 Revenue Marine Cutter Service Officer Sword Guard, found by myself in 2016. Immediately after the American Revolutionary War, the new United States was struggling to stay afloat financially. National income was desperately needed, and the government determined that a great deal of this income would come from tariffs on imports. Because of excessive smuggling, the need was immediate for a strong enforcement of tariff laws. On the 4th of August 1790, the United States Congress, urged on by Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton, created the Revenue Marine. The system of cutters, consisting of 10 vessels, were initially ordered and constructed. 2 cutters were to be assigned to the coasts of Massachusetts and New Hampshire, one for Long Island Sound, 1 for New York, 1 for the Bay of Delaware, 2 for the Chesapeake Bay, 1 for North Carolina, and 1 for Georgia. In 1799, having existed essentially nameless for 8.5 years, Alexander Hamilton's system of cutters was referred to in legislation as revenue cutters. Some decades later, the name evolved to Revenue Cutter Service and Revenue Marine. In 1802, the Revenue Marines had a total of 38 commissioned officers in service, 9 captains, 10 first mates, 9 second mates, and 10 third mates. The first published and systematic annual report of the Revenue Marine Bureau was transmitted to Congress on January 9, 1844, by the head of the Bureau, Revenue Captain Alexander Fraser, the service's first commandant. The report noted that the Revenue Marine consisted of 15 revenue schooners, varying in size from 60 to 170 tons. In 1848, the U.S. Life Saving Service merged with the Revenue Cutter Service. In 1915, the Revenue Cutter Service merges with the U.S. Life Saving Service and is officially renamed the Coast Guard, making it the only maritime service dedicated to saving life at sea and enforcing the nation's maritime laws. The history of Ames. The Ames Manufacturing Company has its origins in a factory established in 1774 in Chelmsford, Mass. By the Ames family. Brothers Nathan P. Ames Jr. and Nathan T. Ames moved their tool and cutlery business to a new industrial town near Springfield in 1829. They were invited by Edmund Dwight, who owned textile mills nearby. The Ames Company soon moved to manufacturing swords for the federal government and state militias. Upon the death of Nathan P. Ames in 1847, ownership of the company turned to their younger brother, James Tyler Ames. By 1835, the company was creating works in brass and bronze, and in 1845 an iron foundry was added. The company used the foundries for casting statues as well as producing military cannons and cannonballs. The bronze doors of the east wing of the United States Capitol were cast at the Ames Company. When the Mexican War came, the foundry's primary output switched to armament, and upon the separation of the South and the formation of the Confederate States of America, the Union lost access to its southern arsenals. Therefore, independent arm manufacturers were crucial to the success of the Union Army. Ames was one of the Union's most important manufacturers of sidearms, swords, and light artillery, and the third largest producer of heavy ordnance, in addition to producing military equipment for many years, including swords, cannons, and cannonballs. It also produced sewing machines and bicycle parts in the later 19th century. The company was a major supplier of bicycles to the Overman Wheel Company from 1888 to 1887. The sword manufacturing business was formally separated into an independent company in 1881. Thanks for watching this episode of History Behind the Find. Remember, it's not about what we find, but what we find out. Please like and subscribe.